Another private lesson in the books, another private lesson with Professor Jimmy. And you know what? It's worth every dime. Before you start thinking that, geez, Chris must be loaded, Chris is pretty darn far from loaded, but I will spend money where I see value. And there's value in private lessons, and there's value with training with Jimmy. Now, of course, every day, every minute, every hour is a step closer to my test. And so, just to be safe, I was watching the test online last night, going through. I felt confident about everything. Anything I haven't done for a while or anything I didn't feel 100% confident in, I wrote it the heck down. And I brought it with me this morning to train with Jimmy. I went over all the things that I wasn't 100% sure about or that I haven't done for a while. And in true Jimmy fashion, he didn't just help me, he improved everything, which kind of sucks and is kind of awesome at the same time because I'm in test mode. I'm in check everything off the list, do it properly, do it like on the videos, do it like we did it in class, and Jimmy's in be the best that you can be, like Pokemon. I want to be the very best, right? Jimmy wants me to be the very best, just like Jimmy wants himself to be the very best. And you know what? That's fantastic. I'm a little bit, I'm a little bit overwhelmed by the information. I'm a little bit overwhelmed by how much input and how much fine-tuning, how much correction, how much improvement, how much enhancement Jimmy has given me, man, because it's changing the game. And it's weird because I've been on check the box mode past the test mode, and Jimmy's like, this is how to make it more successful. This is how to protect yourself better in the street. This is how to make it more painful for the bad guy. And I'm going, wow, this is great stuff. I almost wish I could take all the Jimmy stuff and like put it in a cabinet until after I pass my test, but I'm convinced that when I take my test, if I do it the Jimmy way, I'm still gonna freaking pass. And the reason why I'm confident is because the moves are the same. There's just a few little what he calls Jimmyisms to make it better. So again, I'm gonna keep harping on this because I believe in it. If you can take private lessons, do so. As a matter of fact, I know I mentioned this in previous videos. I mentioned that at my old Keep Showing Up University, I had a membership where I got a 30-minute private lesson every freaking Saturday. And I can't tell you how valuable that was because it allowed me to troubleshoot. It allowed me to ask questions. Hell, we watched tape like we were a pro NFL team, right? We'd watch tape and go, how come I got caught in this? How come I couldn't pass this guy's guard? And that was valuable. But as I was telling Jimmy just a few minutes ago, that structure or that approach was based on moves. And if you saw the last video, I called it concepts over moves because Jimmy is not teaching me moves. Jimmy is teaching me concepts. We already know the moves. Everybody knows the moves. You can Google Gracie Combatives and get a list of all the moves, okay? But I'm not improving the move, I'm improving the concept. I'm using the concept to improve the move, I guess that's a better way of saying it. I'm using Jimmy's concepts to improve and enhance the moves, to make the moves more effective, more efficient, and the move doesn't change, y'all. The move is the same move, but just little tiny little details. And I would tell you, but I don't want to mess up and give away Jimmy's game. If you are anywhere near Southern California, if you're anywhere near Torrance, California, you need to bring your butt to HQ and get a class in. First of all, it's wonderful. You should come train. And if you can afford it, and it's really not that expensive, but you know, everybody's finances are different. If you can afford it, I highly recommend you book a private lesson with Jimmy. His last name starts with a D. So if you go to the website or if you call HQ, tell them you want to schedule an appointment with Jimmy D. And the reason why is because Jimmy is the man. Honestly, real talk, I've trained with a lot of people, a lot of amazing people, a lot of well-known people, a lot of great reputations. One of these days, I'd like to have a private lesson with Hinner. That would be awesome. Or Hiron, or anybody for that matter. Hickson, that'd be amazing. But this is probably the most impactful private lesson, these last two with Jimmy, that I've ever had. And not because he's more knowledgeable than, you know, some of the people I've trained with. He very well could be. He just might be. And in a lot of cases, 100% he is. But it's because the way that we communicate. It's because Jimmy speaks my language. And I'm not saying we're so freaking smart because we're teachers, but like when you learn how to teach, you also learn how to learn. I hope that makes sense. When you learn how to teach, you also learn how to learn, because in order to understand how to teach in an effective way, we have to understand how we process information, how the brain processes information, how we retain information, how we recall information. And Jimmy has the same kind of approach to recall and retention and pedagogy and whatever term you want to use that I do. And so he teaches in these Jimmyisms, which are easy to remember, which are influential. Even right now in our second private lesson, I'm remembering some of the things he told me in the first private lesson, not because I sat back and really tried to memorize it, but because it was that damn easy. He made it simple. I've always said, and I'll say it until the day I die, a good teacher can make the hard things seem easy and can make the easy things seem hard. I used to tell my friends, I can teach you how to box in 1 day or in 10 years. Because 1 day I can teach you how to throw the punches, jab, right hand, left hook, uppercut. I can teach you the moves in an hour, okay? But how to effectively implement those moves, how to perfect those moves, how to set traps so those moves are there when you need them, that's a lifetime process. And so Jimmy can make the easy things hard, and he can make the hard things seem easy. And that's the effectiveness, and that's the calling card of an effective and a good teacher. So enough praising of Jimmy, even though I'm sure he doesn't get sick of me praising his skills. What I will say, and if you made it this far in the video, first of all, you're a real one. Number 2, I'm taking my test today. I haven't told very many people. I think I've told like 3 of my friends online, maybe 4, that I'm taking the test today. And so if you made it this far, stay tuned for the next video, because I'm taking my test. It is 11/11. It's Veterans Day. There's no school today. That's how I'm here in the middle of the day. It's 11/11, and at 11 o'clock, I'm taking my Gracie Combatives test. So stay tuned to see how that goes. I hope to have good and happy news to report in about an hour. So if you made it this far, you got to do 3 things. You got to stay focused. You've always got to stay positive. And you know what? You've always got to stay vigilant. See you next time.